Just a little bit of sun peeking through the rain. It is about as Florida an evening as it gets. But despite the mugginess, despite the wetness, we have some exciting United Soccer League action for you. It's Orlando City B taking on Pittsburgh Riverhounds. Hello, everybody. My name is Evan Westwood. I'm joined tonight in the broadcast booth by Oliver 12trees here at Orlando City Stadium. The Orlando City faithful braving the weather to see their young Lions perform, and a lot of first-teamers in the lineup as well for Orlando City. They have a very talented young striker to contend with in the form of Siobhan Walsh for Pittsburgh. Yeah,
Siobhan Walsh is going to be our player to watch tonight. The young Jamaican striker from Spanish Town is getting hot just at the right time. He scored 2 goals in his last 2 games after coming off his first season last year as the Riverhounds top scorer, and he'll be definitely the striker to watch here for OCB tonight.
Big guy at 6'2", 203, just 22 years old for the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. On the other side, the man who will be trying to stop him, Earl Edwards Jr.
Yeah, Earl Edwards has taken on a big leadership role with this team over the last few months of the season. And, you know, last time they played the Riverhounds, he was in sensational form, standing almost on his head, making 8 saves in that game and bringing OCB the victory out in Pittsburgh.
Let's have a look at the Pittsburgh Riverhounds lineup, a traditional 4-4-2 for Dave Brandt tonight.
Yeah, they've got the 2 big center-backs, Jamal Jack and Toby Adewale, and then the 2 big strikers up front, Romario Parks and Siobhan Walsh. They're going to be anchored by the 2 central midfield players, Victor Soto and Danny Earls, the Englishman and the Brazilian.
Orlando City, similar lineup, a 4-4-1-1. Richie Larea getting a lot of time with the first team. He's at the 10 tonight.
Yes, and Tony Rocha's also back. Tony Rocha starred for OCB last year, and he's starting in centre mid with Paul Clouse. Lewis Neal shift over to the left-hand side, and the mainstay of this team, Austin Martz, will be up and down the right wing. Rafael Ramos as well, back in the fold, starting at right back.
A lot of first-team guys on this side. 7 players with MLS experience tonight for OCB. You get to see them all when we come back. OCB and Pittsburgh kicking off next.
It all began. The passion, the reputation, both on the field and in the stands. They ruled an era in this league, and now they are back for more. The future of Orlando City can be summed up in 3 letters: OCB.
Back here at Orlando City Stadium, just about set for kick between the Young Lions and the Riverhounds. Crucial Eastern Conference matchup. Both teams just a point or 2 below the red line in the Eastern Conference. Dave Brandt, 10-20-8 in his 2nd season in Pittsburgh. One of the most successful coaches in Division III college soccer history with Messiah College. Spent 7 years at Navy before coming to the USL. Counted tonight by Anthony Pulis, 14-19-13 with OCB. And Coach Pulis with a tough challenge tonight to juggle a lot of different personalities and agendas for OCB with so many first-team guys taking the pitch tonight.
Yes, certainly. It's always difficult, you know, when you've got players coming back into the fold, but I know when you've got the players like Richie Larea, Hadji Berry, Tony Rocha's coming back, he's going to be a happy man.
Elvis Osmanovic, the head official tonight. He's in the center circle. as we're just about set to start. Pittsburgh in the gold and OCB in the classic Orlando purple. Young Lions at 5-6-5, tied for 10th in the Eastern Conference, just 1 point back of the red line. Pittsburgh just behind him at 5-7-4, 19 points, as we are exactly halfway through the 32-game USL season. You see Rafa Ramos came on in relief on Wednesday night for the first team against Toronto FC. And Leo Pereira made his first team debut earlier this year at San Jose.
A lot of talent in that back line. You know, I know Coach Anthony Puris will be certainly happy to have Rafael Ramos back in the fold. And obviously you got the experience of Seb Hines next to the left-footed Leo Pereira.
Yeah, only the left back, Fernando Timbo, has not appeared in MLS for Orlando City B. Young Lions coming off a draw last weekend against Cincinnati. Match where Jordan Schweitzer scored in the opening 2 minutes. FC Cincinnati equalized in the 16th, and OCB's defense took over from there. The Young Lions have given up 8 goals in their last 9 matches. This has proven to be a very stingy back line, headed by that man in green, Earl Edwards.
Yeah, Earl Edwards made a save right at the death of the game against FC Cincinnati, which was just fantastic down to his right, and he'll be looking for another solid display tonight.
Jack Thompson on the ball for Pittsburgh. 25-year-old from Hudson, Ohio. Played at Dave Brandt's alma mater, Messiah College. Gives it up to his left back, Taylor Washington, who was suspended for 5 yellow cards his last match. OCB taking the ball back right away. Whistles blown against Pittsburgh in the opening minute. Looks like the weather's just about clearing up right as we start the action. And there's even a rainbow appearing over the northeast corner of the stadium.
Do you think we can find that pot of gold?
I was hoping no one would go for that pun, Oliver. You disappointed me. There's the beautiful Florida rainbow coming up over that corner of the stadium. This really is just an absolutely gorgeous place for soccer. Has sold out all but 2 matches so far for the first team. There's Paul Klaus.
You're going to see a bit of a contrast in style here between these two teams. You know, Dave Brandt's side with the two big boys up front. They're going to play a little bit more direct. And then OCB, obviously, with Tony Rocha and Lewis Neal in there, they're going to look to play through the midfield third a little bit more and maintain possession of the football.
Barry with a little tricky footwork around Adewole. And OCB set to move up. Here's Ramos. We know how much pace he can bring on the right side. Martz looking for Barry early. Headed out, we have an OCB corner as Mike Green, longest tenured member of the Riverhounds, been with them since 2012, heads that one out.
Yeah, Tony Rocha just sprayed a lovely ball out there with his left foot. That's what he brings, playing the ball from the center of the park out to the right back.
Get a look at tonight's special guest, the Orlando City Unified Special Olympics soccer team representing Central Florida. Great group of young men and women taken in the action. Low ball from Neal. Hines was the closest to it, but it's quickly knocked away. Martz looking to recover. Pops one in front, but nobody onside. And there's Kiesel Broom, the reserve keeper for Pittsburgh. But he's getting some run with their starter Trey Mitchell out with a shoulder injury. He was warming up against Tampa Bay. And talking to Dave Brandt earlier, told us that he hurt his shoulder during warm-ups and has just not been able to find fitness since. So they've been going with Kiesel Broom, and then when he was with the Barbadian national team on Tuesday, they actually had to loan a keeper out in an emergency situation from North Carolina FC in the NASL just to have somebody to play. That was Macklin Robinson, who is the reserve tonight. So Kiesel Broom, third-round pick in the MLS a couple of years back, is in net for Pittsburgh this evening.
You could see already in the early going, OCB are trying to maintain the possession of the ball. Tony Rocha again getting on the ball there and trying to play from right to left.
Ramos with a little room to work. Rafa Ramos immediately provided a big spark to Orlando City when he came on for Scott Sutter against Toronto FC. So a lot of chemistry between Rafa and Carlos Rivas on the right side of the pitch for Jason Kreis. First team on a 2.5-week break for the Gold Cup. They'll be back in action here at Orlando City Stadium on July 21st, a Friday nighter against Atlanta United. First of what should be a great emerging rivalry. Tickets still available at orlandocitysc.com/tickets. That ball travels out before Rocha could recover. It'll be a Pittsburgh throw. The USL is one of the most prominent second division professional leagues in the world, featuring some of the game's top talent and rising stars. Stay up to date with all the latest league news and information by visiting www.uslsoccer.com and follow them on Twitter at USL. Victor Soto.
It's going to be a good battle tonight. That Victor Soto leads his team in tackles, and that should be a good matchup in the center of the park there. The former Akron standout is enjoying a good first season in USL.
Former teammate of Richie Larea. Two of them might battle each other at some point tonight. Here's Richie, who's seen a ton of time for the first team. He's appeared in the last 3 matches as a reserve, including making his MLS debut against Chicago Fire a couple of weeks ago. Here's Rocha. And Pittsburgh doing a nice job keeping Orlando City B from really developing anything so far.
Yeah, everything's, lateral at the moment. Not too much penetration. There's no doubt Dave Brandt will have this team very organized. His Messiah way is all about teamwork and building a cohesive unit, so they will not be a walkover by any means tonight, and that'll be very, very difficult to break down.
Just to put in perspective how successful Dave Brandt was at Messiah, they won 6 Division III national titles in 12 years. He lost 25 games in 12 seasons. So he lost about 2 games a year.
Yeah, fantastic record when you talk about that's a non-scholarship division. So, all those players there at his programs. And some of these guys out here tonight that he's brought with him into the pro game as well.
We have a foul on Pereira on top of Siobhan Walsh. And Pereira's a taller guy, but even he is dwarfed by Walsh at 6'2", 203.
Yeah, a little bit of 6 to 1, half a dozen to the other there. Looked like Siobhan Walsh did have a hold of Pereira as he was trying to come through and win the header.
Oh, the big man is just so talented.
But as we talked to, Coach Brandt before, he's still a young striker learning his trade. Only played 2 years in college and came out early, didn't move on to the 4-year level after a good career at Jefferson College in junior college.
Neal can't keep it in play. Pittsburgh to throw. Yeah, Walsh was the 2016 PDL MVP, playing in the amateur 4th tier while in college, and had a tremendous season, scored a goal a game for Ocean City Nor'easters, and now moved up into the 2nd division.
Yeah, that's what got him his move into the USL.
Thompson with an aggressive move, and they call the foul. Excuse me, that's Taylor Washington, the 23-year-old out of New York City. And Rafa Ramos doing his part to draw the whistle. Well, Pittsburgh with their first real run of the game there, and the officials call it off before it can get started as Timbo earns a throw in for OCB.
Nice touch on the sideline from Dave Brandt there as well. Nice left foot first touch.
Well, he played for Messiah all the way back in the early 80s. 30 years as a collegiate coach for Dave Brandt. This is his first crack at coaching professional soccer. He's done a very nice job, already turning around a Pittsburgh team that only won 6 times last year, and they've won 5 already this season. Here's Larea. A little bit of room. Nice deflection from Adewole to short-circuit that developing chance.
Yeah, and Richie Larea is playing in the hole in a number 10 position, just in behind Hadji Berry, and it's a nice first touch there.
Martz with a clean interception. Washington couldn't get it away. Rocha. Back and forth with Neal. They're looking for Hadji. Pittsburgh doing their best to get in front of the ball. Is Timbo.
You can see all 11 men behind the ball camped in their own defensive third for the Riverhounds.
Well, Pittsburgh's been a 500 team on the road this year, and they've done it in large part by just sitting back and letting the game come to them. And you know what? If they leave with a 0-0 draw, that's a point.
Yeah, so much compactness. You talk about the team being compact, and you can look from our view here. There's all 11 players in a very small space for the Pittsburgh Riverhounds, making it very, very difficult for OCB to get through and penetrate.
You have the center backs for Orlando City B across halfway. In comes one of those men, Hines. And out to Fernando Timbo, the 27-year-old from Brazil. Neal poking it forward. It's not there for Barry. As Adewole got in the way, and a chance to counter for Pittsburgh with Siobhan Walsh. OCB sprinting back. Beautiful ball to Parks, and he just couldn't settle it down. What a ball that was by Siobhan Walsh. Perhaps a teeny bit too much mustard on it, but that was right there for Parks to make a run at the keeper. Back out to Kevin Kerr, the veteran. His ball popped in right to Hines.
Yeah, a little bit of what the Riverhounds are about, defending deep and then counter-attacking with their two strikers. Walsh playing the ball to Romeo Parks.
Romeo Parks, 26 years old. Both he and Walsh, Jamaican nationals. Parks with 4 caps of international experience. Well, Pittsburgh settling in a little bit. And like you said, Oliver, this is not their game. They'd prefer to wait back and counter. And OCB with this veteran back line is going to make things very difficult for them. 3 MLS veterans and then a 27-year-old very talented left back in Fernando Timbo. Earls just trying to play to the outside. Mike Green, the right back from Ohio. OCB, and you see how packed in the young Lions are right now. They have 10 men within about 30 yards of each other. Here's a run from the back. Jack, not there. Pereira heads it away. Martz wins it to Ramos. Jamal Jack running in. And immediately taken away, Earl Edwards Jr. To Lewis Neal, and OCB can try to advance. Again, Pittsburgh trying to move up the center back to get involved in the offense there. Jamal Jack, who has taken 3 shots this year. 29-year-old out of Trinidad and Tobago's one of the oldest players on the roster.
He's been very successful in the USL over the years, and he's going to get forward at every opportunity.
Here's Soto. As OCB, again, just both teams content to stay compact. Remember, fans, to use the hashtag for tonight's game, ORLVPGH. Talk about this game with us on Twitter. You can interact with both sides. Orlando City B is at Orlando City B, and you can get at the Riverhounds at PGH Riverhounds. Barry with a little step. Jack is with him. Haji waiting for the troops to come. Ramos forced to go right back. Pittsburgh gets back on defense so well. They are not going to get beat cheaply.
Well, the key is, with a team that's going to get numbers behind the ball, the key is to transition quickly. When they do attack, you've got to get numbers in support. Haji Barry made a great diagonal run in behind. He didn't have the numbers up in support of him quick enough and had to go negative with his ball back.
That's a goal kick. Martz touched it last. And Jamal Jack just lets it waft out of bounds. Soccer fans, Nike is an official sponsor of the USL. For more information, visit NikeSoccer.com. Kiesel Broom to kick it away for Pittsburgh. A man distinctly absent from the pitch for the Riverhounds, Corey Herzog. The Orlando City faithful remember him. He scored 6 goals for the championship team in 2014 here in Orlando, and went to the Tampa Bay Rowdies at the end of the year. He scored against Orlando City B last month and is on the match day 18 for Pittsburgh despite getting some rest tonight. So very good chance we see Corey Herzog to try and give Pittsburgh a spark in the second half.
Yeah, started off the season, very good in front of goal, scoring a lot of goals, creating a lot of chances, and his form's dipped a little bit in this middle part of the season. That's why he finds himself on the bench as well.
Yeah, that game against OCB back at Highmark Stadium on June 3rd, OCB won it. You mentioned Earl Edwards Jr. at the top of the broadcast. 8 saves in that match. Pittsburgh had a season-high 19 shots and lost at home thanks to the play of Earl Edwards Jr. In fact, the road side has won all 3 matches in this series. OCB lost down here 2-0 last year, but they've won 2-1 in Pittsburgh both times. Decent looking ball from Neil to Larea, but it's picked off. That's last touched by Parks for Pittsburgh. Fairly sleepy first 15 minutes so far. Both teams content to defend. OCB looks like the team that's pressed the issue just a little bit more so far, as you would expect from a home side.
Yeah, it's going to be up to, Richie Larea, Lewis Neal, and Austin Martz to get in support a little bit quicker for Haji Berry, because he's gonna find himself 1v2, 1v3 at all times, and it's very important for those attacking midfielders to get in support, and that'll create some opportunities for them.
We know the pace that Richie Larea in particular possesses to come up and play together with Haji. Well, here's a nice little run from Martz. He's got Ramos in support. And again, Pittsburgh just stymies him. Washington takes it away. And Jamal Jack with a chance to clear. A little bit of pressure from OCB here. And the ball sent back to the keeper. Yeah. Well, OCB starting to press high a little bit on Pittsburgh.
Yeah, they don't look extremely comfortable playing out the back. So that's certainly a tactic that they need to use more, is press that ball higher up the pitch and try and create a turnover and trying to get some opportunities from there as well.
Fans, stay up to date on the latest USL news and information from around the league. Tune into USL Coast to Coast with Mike Watts, Mondays at 9 p.m. Eastern on SiriusXM FC, Channel 85. Also, don't forget, SiriusXM FC will air the USL Game of the Week. Please check USLsoccer.com for dates and times. No score here, 16 minutes in. The rain has come to an end. In fact, we've got much clearer skies. Weather can change on a dime here in the Sunshine State. I'm sure Pittsburghers know a thing or two about volatile weather as well. The rain and snow that everybody gets in the fall and winter, and just how beautiful it is in the summer. If you ever find yourself in Pittsburgh, Oliver, do yourself a favor. Go check out a Pirates baseball game at PNC Park. Best park in Major League Baseball, in my opinion. Right on the Allegheny. Beautiful sight lines.
All right, I'll try my best, mate. But,
I know you're not a huge baseball guy.
This is my kind of sport right here. Baseball, I don't know if you'll catch me at too many baseball games, but.
Well, Pittsburgh with some troops up here near the 18-yard penalty box. Kerr turning one in and earns his team a corner. First real chance of the match for Pittsburgh.
Again, there's a lot of size on this Riverhounds team as well. Big boys are going to come up from the back. Jamal Jack, Washington, Jack Thompson, they're all going to be in there. So let's see if there's an opportunity here to break the deadlock.
Short corner for Pittsburgh. It's out to Kevin Kerr. Here's a whipped-in ball. Header, oh, just a little bit high. Jamal Jack was right there for the Riverhounds, but just couldn't get his noggin wrapped around. I think it was Parks, actually.
Yeah, Kevin Kerr, the Yorkshireman, gets this short corner and then just whips it in. Very Beckham-esque there, just bends it right in behind the back line. And the big center forward, Romeo Parks, can't quite control the header, and he was wide open, no one anywhere near him. So Anthony Pierce will not be happy with his back line there, giving away that opportunity from the set piece.
Well, that's twice tonight now. The ball by Vaughn, and now this in-swinging ball from Kerr, where Parks was on the receiving end of just a gorgeous service and wasn't able to settle the ball.
Yeah, good opportunity, free header. And the 6'3" Jamaican will definitely want that one back, because that was a good chance for him to open the scoring.
Edwards has settled it down for OCB. Neal flicking it on to Barry. It's a veteran play by the Englishman. And here's Larea getting tangled up with Jack and getting free. Richie Larea around Jack. Larea shot, saved by Broom. Clearance rebounded and out the back for a goal kick. That's a money save for Kiesel Broom as Larea made a brilliant run into the box.
And that's the first time we've seen it tonight. We've seen the combination play. Larea running off of Haji Berry, showing that confidence to get his head up, and he was really looking to pass, and wasn't he? He had his head up. He wanted to square that ball back to somebody, but there was nobody there. But he showed his pace, showed a clean pair of heels to the big center back, and then just the shot on goal works the keeper, but probably the right height really for the goalkeeper, and makes a good save, but a save he should make.
I'll tell you what, too, Martz was in very good position for the rebound and just got a little bit in front of the ball there. Very good chance for OCB. Well, things starting to pick up here as the rain is stopped and the action is just getting started.
Yeah, the key on that play really was Richard Luria running behind the striker. In the number 10 position, you've got to run behind the defense and behind the center forward if you're going to penetrate, and he did just that and create an opportunity for his team.
Here's a clean takeaway for Parks on Tony Rocha. Romeo Parks, just a tough giveaway there as he had Siobhan Walsh running with him.
Yeah, it was a good win from Parks, but really sloppy with the final ball.
Nice footwork from Martz, but he can't find Larea. Soto so good with the ball at his feet. And Pittsburgh settles things down. Well, things definitely starting to pick up here as the game nears 20 minutes. You think about the best number 10s around the globe and even in Major League Soccer at this point. Pace always sticks out. Like guys who can just slip in behind and make things happen.
Yeah, the days of just the pure pass at a number 10 are gone in the modern game. The number 10 needs to be a guy that can beat plays on the dribble, running behind, score goals, you know, not just make the pass in the old Riquelme and Platini mold.
Parks in front. Got a lot of bodies around him. And he's trying to hang on to it. We got a whistle, and Vaughn is called for the foul.
You can see the size and the strength of a big Siobhan Walsh, you know, at over 200 pounds. It took him Pereira and Timbo to try and slow him down in the end.
Timbo and Pereira, the two Brazilians who will speak Portuguese with each other when communicating on the pitch. Anthony Pulis loves to deploy them next to each other because they have that other level of communication.
That's always a tough one, you know, having international players on your team. And do you encourage them to speak English? Do you force them to speak English in the team? You know, and that's always a big talking point amongst coaches, you know, dealing with the international game.
Well, as the game comes more and more to the United States over the years, it's only become more and more of a talking point as this country's soccer stock very much on the rise. Ramos. OCB have held the slight edge in possession so far. Other than that one brilliant chance with Larea, not much of it. Pittsburgh looking to counter. A nice run here from Jack Thompson. Parks turning in. Nice job by Pereira to push him off the ball. How about Kerr? Back to Mike Green, and Pittsburgh forced back out to the edge of the final third. Leo Pereira coming up with a big play for Orlando City B.
Yeah, you saw the danger Parks has when he's running at the defense, and Pereira got himself in a good position and made the good tackle.
Again, Orlando City B frustrating Pittsburgh's attempts to come down in towards the box. Victor Soto. And Green, the right back. Former New Mexico Lobo. Mike Green making his 128th appearance for Pittsburgh. That is the third most in Riverhounds history. Franchise founded in 1999. Finally found a permanent owner and stadium in 2013 with the opening of the $10 million Highmark Stadium in Pittsburgh. Vaughn looking for an opening. And Lewis Neal, with some help from Seb Hines, wins the ball back for OCB.
That was a good bit of possession there for the Riverhounds, probably the best they've had in the match. Sustained possession in OCB's half. Weren't quite able to carve open an opportunity, but improvement on the attacking side for Dave Brandt's team.
Barry can't hold that one down, and Pittsburgh should have another chance here. As the Riverhounds get set to throw in with Green. The USL is one of the most prominent second division professional leagues in the world, featuring some of the game's top talent and rising stars. Stay up to date with all the latest league news and information by visiting www.uslsoccer.com and follow them on Twitter @USL. Of course, you can join us on Twitter with the hashtag ORLVPGH tonight. We talk about this one. Both teams have had their chances so far, but as of yet, 0-0 as we just tick past halfway through the opening half. Oliver, what do you see both teams doing to try and improve their chances of creating an opening here?
I'd like to see a little bit more width from this OCB team. They haven't really got the ball out wide to Austin Martz a lot in this game. He's playing quite narrow. Rafael Ramos is trying to attack, but, you know, they need to get one of their key attacking threats in Austin Martz in dangerous areas of the pitch.
It's a good point. They seem to be relying on Ramos almost to get high on that outside, and Martz is a little less wide than he'd normally be.
Yeah, that's not really his game. You know, Lewis Neal, yeah, he wants to tuck in and pick up the ball in the pockets, but Martz wants to run and he wants space, and not really playing to his strengths right now, and he's been a good weapon for him this season.
Martz, the Georgetown man, is actually from the opposing coach's hometown, Mechanicsburg, PA. Parks, again, just too many purple shirts around him.
Yeah, tried that same little 1v1 move where he just scoops the ball inside, and he's been pinched twice, so I think he's got to work on a new move to trouble this OCB defense tonight.
Hard foul from Danny Earl. So here's a big ball forward from Martz. Martz has an opening, tied up in the box. Don't hear a whistle, and Broom slides the ball out of play.
Exactly what we were talking about. Austin Martz loves to run into space, and that time he gets a great ball over the top, runs into space, and just gets muscled off the ball there by Broom. So it's a great ball off by Lewis Neal. You know, he can put the ball on a dime, and he did just that. Austin Martz can't quite bring it down. If he's able to bring that down first touch, he's probably got an opening to finish, but can't quite get it under control, and that was the difference.
OCB takes the opportunity to push all 10 purple shirts in the outfield across halfway. Again, Pittsburgh just sitting back in that compact defensive formation.
The ball's got to be moved so much quicker. You know, listen to Bruce Arena at halftime of the U.S. game, you know, when the game was 0-0 against Panama today, and that's what he wanted. He wants speed of thought. He wants speed of movement. He wanted everything speeded up, and that's what OCB needs here to do as well tonight, is speed everything up. Everything's a little bit laborious and slow, and it's going to be easy for the Riverhounds to get back into shape and defend.
Speaking of that game, Orlando City USL legend Dom Dwyer picking up yet another goal for the U.S. men's national team. Here's another chance for OCB. Klaus outside to Ramos. Rafa takes a shot. Broom with the save and cover.
Nice idea from Ramos there, just putting it in an area behind the back four, but no runners in there. Haji Berry just a little slow to react and get into that dangerous area. You can see good layoff from Haji Berry. Now look, Haji Berry's just standing there. He needs to get in the box now. Can he get in the box and want to score a goal? But it was a little bit too close to the keeper as well. Well, and you see Haji Berry just arriving late. And that's exactly what Dom Dwyer did in the goal you're talking about for the U.S. today. Laid it off, played it out wide, and then got in the box and had that desire to go and finish it off. And, you know, he's been doing that for a long time. Now he's getting a chance for the U.S. national team.
Yeah, he'll be remembered for a long time for those 4 goals he scored in the USL championship game for Orlando City, win them a title. Unbelievably successful run here in Central Florida that got the Lions noticed, moved them up to MLS.
Yeah, I've known Dom since he came over and played to Tyler. We had many battles against him when I was at Barton in the NJCA Nationals, and I can say he definitely got the advantage in those battles. He was a great college player and is a great pro as well.
Now suiting up for Sporting Kansas City in the Western Conference. I think if he can't be a Lion, they've got to be pretty happy to only see him once a year. OCB in the 29th minute, again, starting to take over possession, and one of those spots where if you can get the ball in the right position enough times, something will happen for you as Fernando Timbo gains a bit of an opening. Timbo with 2 purple shirts around him just leaves it a little high for Barry.
Yeah, really the first time we've seen Timbo attack on this left flank, and you know, against FC Cincinnati, that was a big part of OCB's attack, was him getting up that left from the left back position.
Oh, a tough turnover there for Thompson, and Haji Berry with a couple of purple shirts around him if he wants to do some damage here. And OCB will elect to just reverse course. Timbo.
Now, we talked in the pregame to Coach Pulis, and that's, you know, one of his game plans. He wanted Lewis Neal to pinch in and find the pockets of play, and he wanted Timbo to go on the overlap. So that game plan hasn't quite come into fruition so far, just a couple of times really tonight. Part of the problem is that, you know, they want to mark those two center forwards and they need cover. So it's difficult for the fullbacks to go forward.
Well, Timbo doing a nice job right there to get it away from Kevin Kerr. And Rocha, 16 on 16, battling Earls, and he puts a nice ball up the sideline for Ramos. Rafa curls one in. Neal takes the shot, just barely deflected. Jamal Jack pushing it over the bar and saving a goal from Lewis Neal.
Yeah, really fantastic bit of play there. The ball gets played out to Rafael Ramos, and, you know, he gets his head up, and look, he picks out Lewis Neal coming in late. Lewis Neal just passes that ball in, and Jamal Jack puts it over. Lewis Neal's actually appealing for a handball, and it does look like it flicks off of Jamal Jack's hand, actually, and goes over the bar. So, you know, a good opportunity for OCB to open the scoring, and Lewis Neal maybe wanted a penalty.
Something that could be under the purview of video assistant referee is that becomes standard in the league after the All-Star break in MLS.
Yeah, you can see a definite handball there. It was accidental, and that's where, you know, the gray area is. It was accidental, but it was definitely a handball in the box.
Broom on top of that is that whipped in ball from Neal, just a little bit close to the keeper, and so again Pittsburgh survives a great chance for OCB. But can the Riverhounds just keep living on a thread like this for 90 minutes on the road?
Yeah, you know, OCB haven't been consistent enough with the possession. They have had a possession advantage, but it hasn't been consistent enough. If they can keep the consistent possession, the chances will come and they will break the deadlock. Not quite able to keep it in play there.
Pittsburgh ball here is even Larea not quite pacey enough to get to that one. Huge game here. Both teams sit just below the red line. Interesting contrast of styles and of sort of wants and needs at this point. Pittsburgh is officially affiliated with Columbus Crew SC, but they're an independent organization. They do not have nearly the amount of communication and fluidity where OCB is simply a part of Orlando City Soccer Club, and so
yeah, the standalone USL organizations are obviously working on a different level than the MLS B teams, and you know, but there's challenges in both organizations, and certainly there's some fantastic standalone USL organizations that are, you know, at the top of the league right now.
It's something I absolutely love about this league, that you get the combination of kind of a classic American minor league and a classic European second tier. It's sort of a mix of both cultures in a way.
And I think you'll see with the opening of the USL, the third division in US soccer that's to come, that's going to probably even the landscape a little bit. And some of the B teams are probably going to move into the third division as true B teams, and then the standalones will be the second division teams. So it's an interesting future on the landscape of US soccer, that's for sure.
Neal trying to make something happen with his head. Adewale. And Lewis Neal has been all over the pitch for Orlando City B. The player coach, 35-year-old Englishman.
Yeah, you know, you're always going to get, 100% effort from Lewis, and, he does have the vision, and he still does have great feet and the space to get into the box and find himself in positions to score as well. So not as comfortable out wide here on the left. He prefers it in the center of the park, but he can certainly do a job out here as well, especially if Timbo can overlap him and provide that engine.
What a career the man from Leicester has had. Scored the game-winning goal in the 2013 U.S. Open Cup for DC United. Barry pushed wide. Rocha. Haven't called the central midfielders all that much tonight for OCB.
No, it's been a little bit quiet. Hasn't really missed a pass, though, as always, Tony Rocha.
Klaus with a nice ball to Ramos. Rafa moving in. Gets by Thompson. Pops one into the air. Oh, nobody home. There was an opening there, but no one to fill it for OCB.
Yeah, lovely bit of composure there. You know, Rafael Ramos just skins Thompson, all ends up, cuts him inside, then out, and then just has the strength of mind to just ping that ball to the back post. Unfortunately, nobody's there.
Here's Larea with options. Ball into Martz, shot deflected. Adewole hits it out for the corner.
Yeah, good diagonal run there from Martz, from right to left. Earns his team a corner.
Martz coming all the way in from his side of the pitch to make this happen. He was looking for Barry right there. But Adewole made the deflection.
Yeah, Martz, Barry, Larea, now they're starting to really threaten this Pittsburgh Riverhounds back line.
Ramos going down to take the corner. Barry standing right next to the keeper, Kiesel Broom. Third corner of the match for the Young Lions. Headed into the air by Pittsburgh, and we'll have another corner. It was Kevin Kerr who got his head on it first. And Lewis Neal going down to the other end.
The Riverhounds, all 11 players back, defending the box. You know, another interesting tactic. No one up front to transition to the attacking. So just really trying to see out this set piece here and defend it.
Yeah, selling out to just keep this even as we are within 10 minutes of the end of the first half. A little bit long there from Neal. Comes back up top. Rebound is high from Ramos. Well, you see the power in his left foot. Just got a little bit under that one. Couldn't quite hit it clean. And Pittsburgh again survives an OCB chance.
Yeah, as that ball gets headed out to the box there, you can see Rafael Ramos lines this up all the way on his left foot, really swings it, but a little bit out of control, slices it wide. But he's been one of the best attacking weapons tonight. From right back, he still, you know, created a couple of opportunities on the overlap, few balls in the box, and then that shot. So definitely one of the most effective performances for OCB so far tonight.
Ramos transferring into Orlando City during the USL days, was one of the men who made the move up to MLS in 2015. Has suffered from injury this year, but finds himself back at full fitness. Here's Siobhan Walsh for Pittsburgh.
Nice little bit of play there from Walsh, just juggling that ball on the run.
Parks has had trouble hanging on to it tonight, though, and Mike Green gets called for the foul. Osmanovic doesn't go to the pocket, so play continues. Barry gets pushed down, and we have a goal kick as no whistle is blown.
Yeah, I don't think there was anything there either. You know, good defending from Toby Adewole.
There's the foul on Green. That earned Orlando that chance.
And Hadji Berry gets into the channel there, and Adewole just is a little bit stronger than Hadji Berry, and he waves away the protest for a foul.
Oh, nice job by Adewole, who made his professional debut on Tuesday for Pittsburgh at George Washington University. Walsh earns his team a corner, hitting that ball off of Hines. And Chevy Walsh putting Pittsburgh in a position for a set piece, just kind of out of the blue right there.
Yeah, you know, that's the sign of a striker that's confident. He scored 2 goals in his last 2 games, and he took that shot early. You know, scores a lot of goals. There's been a lot of great strikers that, you know, have made a name for themselves by taking an early shot, and he tried to do the same there and earned a corner for his team.
Offside on Pittsburgh. They get Thompson behind the back 4.
Yeah, a little bit sloppy there on the short corner to get offside, so Kerr's not happy with himself there, the experienced
Kevin
Englishman.
Kerr. This is his 117th Pittsburgh Riverhounds match, 5th in team history. He's a Scottish citizen who was born to a military father in West Germany, but his father was Scottish, his mother was English.
That's a tough one. You know, I always get a hard time from my, you know, from my Welsh friends, as my father is English, and, you know, so I feel there's English in me as well as Welsh, but I wonder what he feels. Even tougher divide there with Scotland and England, so I wonder what he considered himself. You know, we say he's from York, England, but...
Well, hey, he was born in West Germany, so... he can go ahead and split the difference and call himself German. I got a foul here on OCB as Walsh went down. Fans not thrilled about that one. Pretty clean game so far from Elvis Osmanovic. Haven't seen any discipline as we head near the end of the first 45 minutes.
Yeah, Pierre de Silva obviously got that red card in the game against FC Cincinnati, which was, you know, a black spot for OCB. They'll be hoping for no more of that tonight.
Silva out for the next 3 matches, a league suspension. Whipped in ball again, looking for Romeo Parks, and Orlando City B has made it a point to blanket Romeo Parks and not let him and Walsh in front of their center backs tonight. As Parks isolated on the wing and just nowhere to go with the ball.
Yeah, they've done well to drop when necessary and really make sure, like we have here, we're getting pressure on Parks' back and not allowing him to turn, or Walsh.
Trying to give and go with him. And Thompson threading into Parks, and Hines gets in the way. Nice play by the Englishman. Martz attempting to counter. It's Rocha. And OCB wins possession back. Edwards, oh, nearly gave it away. A little bit dangerous there, and he does as Kerr comes back up with it. In swinging ball, headed off at the pass.
Yeah, that's certainly one area. You know, Earl Edwards Jr. has been fantastic all year with his shot stopping, but I have seen a few key giveaways at times with his feet, and there was one there as well. So that's, you know, an area that his game needs to go up a gear if he's going to continue this upwards trajectory in his career.
Seb Hines starting 23 matches with the first team last year, bailing out his keeper on that play. Edwards Jr.
Not enough of that combination. You see Richie Larea trying to get that flick on there for Haji Berry.
Oh, great takeaway from Martz as Jack left it into the open. Here comes Martz. And the ball stoned away by Pittsburgh. Did he keep it in? Yes, sir.
I'd like to see a replay of that one. It looked like it just might have rolled over the line there. Martz, great interception, solid hard run.
A great tackle by Washington there.
It was a great tackle, good interception as well. Does this cross the line? That looks like it's over the line to me, but
very close.
I guess we're not the television referees, so goal kick it is. Or keeper's ball, sorry.
Foul in the air on OCB. And Pittsburgh with a free kick from just in front of halfway. And Osmanovic trying to keep control as things have started to get slightly chippy.
You see, he does have a good demeanor about him, Osmanovic. He's talking to his players. That's what all players want. They don't want the referee yelling at them on the pitch. They want to have that dialogue and conversation and the mutual respect from the referee, and you can see that from him tonight. He's doing a good job so far.
Victor Soto, the Akron man. Wide for Green. And Parks, again positioned behind the midfield. Parks with a shot all the way from Tampa, and Earl Edwards Jr. makes his first stop of the night.
You see Parks dropping deeper and deeper. He had a little bit of joy by dropping deeper and with some combination play. This time he drops deeper and just says, to heck with it, I'm going to have a go with my left foot, and gets Earl Edwards some action.
That's the first shot on target for Pittsburgh. OCB has absolutely dominated possession, 70% so far tonight. And Pittsburgh is just trying to counter where they can, and Romeo Parks taking one from well outside the box. Sometimes you have to do that on the road. That's just the way it goes. Here's an opportunity to counter. And again, Parks in much better position, and it got deflected. Another great defensive play for OCB.
Yeah, that 70% possession doesn't mean anything if Earl Edwards was going to continue with, you know, his sloppy footwork. Finds that ball there to Thompson, and Parks, perhaps his best move of the night, goes around Seb Pines if he's not there, and what a great block that was from Pereira. If Pereira doesn't make that block, that's probably 1-0 against the run of play for the Riverhounds.
Here's Larea looking to push the run of play right back in OCB's direction. Klaus, again leaving it nicely for Martz, and here comes Rafa. Knocked out of play, off of OCB. And that was Martz, frustrated with himself, as he couldn't keep it in bounds.
Yeah, had the opportunity there and just didn't time his run forward, and ball was able to get intercepted.
Well, Pittsburgh, despite sitting back at about 30% possession tonight. They have held their own. Very nearly took that lead. And you see why on that last shot, why OCB and Orlando City's coaching staffs are so high on Leo Pereira. Young man just 21 years old on a season-long loan from Atletico Paranense from Brazil, and I'm sure they would love to buy him and keep him here.
Yeah, he's certainly pushing for some first-team opportunities. You know, he is a left footer, and he's very good at playing the ball out the back. Really hardly ever misses a pass, and you know, over long range and short range, and then you know, just his pure defending play there. You know, the ugly parts of defending, the stuff that, you know, the blocks, the interceptions, the tackles. You know, they're all on display from him tonight.
Richie Larrea had to get checked on there briefly.
Need more from Richie Larrea tonight. You know, he's back here for OCB, and that's what the performances for OCB got him up into Orlando City's top team there. And you know, need to see him combining more with Haji Berry and making an impact on this game.
It's got to be interesting from a mental standpoint as we enter stoppage time here at the end of the first half to make your debut with the first team and then come back and have to play again in the USL. Well, we'll see how he handles the second half. We have hit halftime here in Orlando, 0-0 at the break, despite chances for both teams. Take a look at some highlights and stats when we return to Orlando City. You're watching Orlando City B on USL Match Center.
The pressure she must feel.
Back here at Orlando City Stadium, halftime 0-0. Sleepy first 15 minutes, and then things really started to pick up as Orlando City B dominating possession, carving out some chances, Oliver, but they just never found that perfect opening to get in and score on Kiesel Broom and the Riverhounds.
Yeah, just that final ball, the final execution wasn't quite there for OCB. They did create a number of opportunities and possess the ball really well, but you know, couldn't add the finishing touches to some good build-up play.
Well, Pittsburgh had a couple of chances. The best one perhaps off this corner. Romeo Parks just a little bit shy of putting that one in, and then OCB went after it.
And this is a combination play we've been calling for all night. Haji Berry and Richie Larrea. Richie Larrea running beyond and really going past the Riverhounds defense and has an opportunity to finish. You can see he's looking for the bend in that corner, and a good save from Kiesel Broom.
Yeah, the 2 first-round picks from last year play so well together. Beautiful ball here from Lewis Neal to Austin Martz, and just not quite enough room to finish. A great play by Toby Adewole to stop him. And Pittsburgh relying on those two center backs all night long.
Ramos there really playing well tonight, cutting that ball back for Lewis Neal. And was that a handball there? Was that stopping a goal-scoring opportunity? A great cut back into Lewis Neal. And did Toby Adewole handball this and stop a goal-scoring opportunity? It definitely came off his hand, but was the ball going wide?
Very, very close. It did look like it clipped his cleat first. And Lewis Neal clearly frustrated. As we take a look at the stats, and you look at that possession marker, the run of play certainly with the Young Lions in the first half.
Yeah, it's definitely, but possession with possession without an end product, it is what it is. And, shots on target there for both teams. 1 for OCB, 0 for the Riverhounds, 1 shot apiece total, just really not good enough in the final third for either teams. I'm sure both coaches will be talking to their front men, their attacking players, and really asking for more, combination play, more coordination with each other, and more final product.
Well, Oliver, all things considered, to have a draw at half like this, when you consider the possession numbers, Dave Brandt's got to be fairly happy with how things went.
Oh, no doubt about it. They had a game plan. They got numbers behind the ball, and they did what they're supposed to be doing. And, they did create a few opportunities. The two boys up front are certainly a handful. Romeo Parks and Siobhan Walsh, they did have some half chances. And, OCB have got to be careful that they're aware of those two on the counterattack. It doesn't matter if they've got 90% possession, 50% possession. Those two strikers can hurt them if they have time and space.
Both men around 6'3", 200 pounds. They are just bullies when they get into position. We'll see if either of them can break this scoreless draw or if OCB will get themselves on the board. Time
has come to announce USL Division III, America's professional third division league, completing the U.S. pro soccer landscape. It's time for your town, your team, your game. D3 will fuel local pride and local passion, creating a new legacy for the beautiful game and inspiring its tribal following across the country. This is professional soccer, built on a disciplined financial model and operational excellence, featuring exciting venues to thrill fans in hungry new markets yearning for the game. USL Division III, professional, passionate, proven. Pro soccer starts here, coming in 2019. For more information, visit usld3.com.
Here's your check. Oh, you got it. Since I got rid of my car, I really enjoy walking.
Hey? God, no.
Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates.
Oh, you're home early. You live with your mom?
That'll set your game back a few years. Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
The 2017 USL season already has been one for the record books, with major new names including Phoenix Rising FC's Didier Drogba and Omar Bravo, and the Tampa Bay Rowdies' Marcel Schaefer adding to the excitement as the league continues to raise the level on and off the field.
United Soccer League, Oklahoma City Energy taking on the Sacramento Republic FC. You make the top play, we will find you. Check out Miguel Gonzalez.
Pittsburgh Riverhounds versus Toronto FC. Victor Sudo drills the rocket upper right corner. This is the only goal in the game. Riverhounds win at 1-0.
San Antonio FC and the Tulsa Roughnecks. 4th minute scoreless game. Chris Turpak in the box falls down. Doesn't prevent him from scoring.
This is from USL. FC Cincinnati made some news earlier in the week as they made it to the next round of the U.S. Open Cup. And how about this goal by Andrew Weidman? He does all the heavy lifting. Boom, boom, boom. Smack. Game ends 2-2 against Charleston Battery.
Rowdy's taking on the Richmond Kickers. Oh. Rowdy's cross, header blocked. DeShorn Brown. Look at DeShorn in great position, finishing with the scissor kick.
The thrilling action on the field has been seen by record levels of support in the stands. New facilities like those in Rio Grande Valley and Phoenix have welcomed fans to new, exciting eras for both clubs, while fervent support for clubs like the Richmond Kickers, Tampa Bay Rowdies, San Antonio FC, Louisville City FC, and Sacramento Republic FC has put the league on course for total attendance of more than 2 million this season, a historic high. Sacramento has been at the forefront of the rising competition too, with Republic FC's victory against Real Salt Lake sending the side into the round of 16 in the Lamar Hunt US Open Cup for the first time. Ottawa Fury FC's arrival in the USL has been marked by a remarkable victory against Toronto FC in front of a passionate crowd at TD Place in the Canadian Championship, while the second highest crowd in Open Cup history, 32,287 fans, saw FC Cincinnati earn a thrilling penalty shootout victory against the Chicago Fire to advance to the quarterfinals. As the season reaches its halfway point, the USL has never been stronger.
Set to take the field. There will be Johnson. Oh, to the back post goal! Orlando City! Saved off the line once and twice. Are you kidding? Spector, then Bendit. Everybody on their feet. Well, that time it's flopped. Goal Orlando City, a rare mistake from Gol Hamid. It is 2-0 Barnes, his first goal in purple.
Back here at Orlando City Stadium, the Young Lions reserves keeping loose and keeping warm, weirdly, as we have seen the temperature dip into the mid-70s with the rain today. Temperature of this game just heating up. It's 0-0 at the break, and things don't get much easier for either of these clubs as we go through the month. I-4 Derby coming up on Thursday for OCB, and they'll do it without Pierre Da Silva.
Yeah, certainly it's going to be just a fantastic matchup. It's definitely a game on the schedule that everybody involved in the organization, everybody that's involved since, day one at Orlando City, has been excited for that I-4 rivalry. So, it'll be a great game. Obviously, Tampa Bay, Deshaun Brown in red-hot form, Joe Cole, pulling the strings. That's just going to be a great matchup when they come into town on Thursday.
Pittsburgh, they're running a gauntlet right now. Every July match, except this one, is against a team in playoff position. You see 4 out of the 5 of them are on the road. They play at Tampa 3 days after that Charleston game. In this league, that travel is just so tough.
Yeah, and you can see why they've come in here tonight and, why they have a game plan, and they're going to get numbers behind the ball, and they're going to try and pick up points. A draw on the road and win your home games, that's a recipe to make the playoffs in this league.
Yeah, squad rotation, conserving your legs, keeping everybody fresh. So important for Dave Brandt and for the Pittsburgh Riverhounds as they play their toughest stretch of the season in this month of July. Fortunately for OCB, they get a couple of weeks off before they take on a very good Charleston team on July 29th, and then the Harrisburg City Islanders here at Orlando City Stadium shortly after. Fans, if you want to interact with us tonight, use the hashtag for tonight's game, ORLVPGH. The Twitter handles for both sides, very active as well, at Orlando City B and at PGH Riverhounds. Get at both teams and talk about this matchup. It's been back and forth so far. Neither team has been able to quite break through. And just around the corner, we'll have second half soccer. Take a look at the Eastern Conference standings, and you understand why this game is so important. Both teams just below the red line of FC Cincinnati, Rochester, and Red Bulls 2.
Yeah, a lot of parity in this league, and Charleston Battery certainly are one of the top teams, and obviously they've shown it with their top of the division right now. So Tampa Bay, Louisville, also, you know, class teams. But, you know, anybody can beat anybody in this league, and they've shown just that throughout the year. And obviously FC Cincinnati have made a big improvements, big strides of late, and OCB and Pittsburgh Riverhounds really need to, you know, get something out of this game tonight to continue their forward progress.
A lot of parity, a lot of moving parts in those Eastern Conference standings. Anthony Pulis coming back out. We're just about set to start the second half of action between Orlando City B and Pittsburgh. 0-0 at the break. OCB with 69% of the possession in the first half, but despite a couple of golden chances, unable to break through for one reason or another on Pittsburgh's back line and their keeper, Kiesel Broom, the Barbadian international.
Yeah, no, certainly Coach Pulis, he doesn't look a happy man. Obviously, he's always a very stoic individual, but very thoughtful and pensive at times. But I don't think he'll be too happy with his front line. And I think we'll see some substitutions early in this game tonight as he'll want more out of his attacking force.
Well, it does look like we're going to have a change right here at halftime for OCB. Jordan Schweitzer is set to come on for Tony Rocha here at the break.
I think that was planned. I think Tony Rocha, just coming back from injury, he was only supposed to schedule to play a half, so he was just going to play the 45 minutes, and we'll see Jordan Schweitzer, who scored a great goal against FC Cincinnati last time out. He'll provide a lot of energy. He gets around the park. He's got good distribution, and he showed that he can have end product as well. So I think he'll be a good addition to the second half team for Orlando City B.
Now, what a beautiful goal that was against Cincinnati for Jordan Schweitzer. 4 years at the University of Denver, 3 times All-Conference. 23 years old, out of Dallas, Texas. He spent last year with Seattle Sounders 2, and this year brought in to provide some stability in the holding midfield for OCB. So we'll see Schweitzer move right into that left holding midfielder spot that was occupied by Rocha, and he'll team up with a fellow 23-year-old, the Englishman Paul Klaus, as Pittsburgh gets started here in the second half. Both teams looking to improve their lot in the Eastern Conference with this one. OCB in the purple, Pittsburgh in gold. And we'll see if Schweitzer can perhaps help create as he did in the opening minutes of last weekend's game. Haji Barry on the ball right away for OCB. And Schweitzer finds Timbo open. Fernando Timbo, the left back. Looked like he was getting ready to swing one in. Instead has Larea. Look at Mike Green staying right with Richie. Larea backed into the corner. And right back outside. OCB with no room to work with. Well, the back four in particular for Pittsburgh has been very strong tonight.
Yeah, played very, very narrow. A lot of work from Kerr and Jack Thompson as well defensively, so you know the back four can stay very compact and narrow. 2
veterans down on the wings in Thompson and Kerr.
So certainly does look like a back 6 at times tonight.
And Pittsburgh has no problem sitting back. They have no problem staying compact and trying to move on the counterattack with their 2 big bruisers up at the top in Siobhan Walsh and Romeo Parks.
Yeah, and the 2 bruisers in the back, Jamal Jack and Toby Adewale, they've been very, very solid tonight, and they've really got the better of Haji Berry and Richie Larea so far tonight.
Ramos, look at that pace to get around Thompson. Klaus in for Martz. And just walled off by the defensive midfield. Look at Pittsburgh defensively. They all move as one. So well-coached defense for Dave Bryant.
Yeah, that's what the building blocks for any team is, making sure you get the defensive side right and make sure you're organized in the back, make sure you're doing the right things and moving cohesively as a unit.
Again, we have the same story. OCB, the opening couple of minutes here, dominating possession, but they just can't find that hole. And Pittsburgh is happy to concede the possession game, it seems. They're confident in their ability to grind this one out. Larea. Barry caught out wide. Haji with a little fancy footwork. Timbo, one-time cross. Wants Klaus knocked down in the box, but Broom is there to recover and grab the ball for Pittsburgh.
And that's, you know, the other way that you can get around a team that's dropping defensively very deep and playing very narrow is get your fullbacks forward, get your outside backs forward, get them into crossing positions, and get good service. And Timbo did just that and almost got an opportunity as goalkeeper couldn't keep hold of it on the first attempt and got it on the second attempt, Broom.
Broom knocking it out of play for OCB. Soccer fans, Nike is an official sponsor of the USL. For more information, visit NikeSoccer.com. 49th minute. Still scoreless as OCB has had the ball for the entirety of the second half. Schweitzer with a little room. Ball in front. Here's Ramos. On to Barry. Back outside to Rafa as Pittsburgh gets organized. Ramos in, header on, and OCB off the pipe for Haji. This close to breaking through, and Haji Barry meets the cold, hard truth of the post. And Pittsburgh, by the skin of their teeth, keeps this even.
Yeah, Pittsburgh were defending so deep, got way too deep. Were defending inside their own box, and Ramos was able to play a great ball in, picks out Haji Berry. Haji is wide open, gets it on frame, hits it across the keeper, does everything right, but cannot find the back of the net.
Orlando City B has gotten closer and closer and closer to scoring. Oliver, what does Pittsburgh have to do to try and counter this run of play here?
Yeah, they can't defend so deep. You know, you can defend, you can get numbers behind the ball, but once you start creeping into, you know, your own penalty box, that just, you cannot defend that deep. And you can see Orlando City have pushed so many numbers forward that, you know, they created the opportunities.
Schweitzer. And the Denver man hits it too long for Martz.
I was going to say Schweitzer's made a difference as well, but I kept that to myself, and then he kicked it out for a throw-in.
Sometimes the best things you say are the things you don't.
Another great tackle there from Pereira. He reads the game so well because Siobhan Walsh was away, and he slid in and made a great tackle.
Yeah, the Brazilian Pereira, they are so high on him as a future starter for the first team. They envision, if they can keep Leo Pereira, him and Tommy Redding in the back, and you got two guys that are 21 and 20 respectively. Jonathan Spector holding down the fort for the moment at age 31, coming in from Birmingham City.
Yeah, I don't think Jonathan Spector would be too happy to hear about that, though. I think he's got a lot of football in him still.
Certainly agree with the form he's shown this year. He's been absolutely brilliant for Orlando City. One of the biggest impact additions in all of MLS. Nice ball there to Martz. They can't hook up with Barry. Ramos keeping the play alive, and it's back to Schweitzer and Paul Klaus.
Yeah, moving the ball so much quicker this half. That's been the difference in this second half so far. OCB moving it quicker.
Larea. Read it into Martz. Back outside for Fernando Timbo. Martz, he's onside, but nobody in the pool, so he tried to cross that one in. And Ramos forced a back pass. Again, Pittsburgh just barely in the right place.
You can see that back six is in operation again. OCB are pushing more and more numbers forward.
Nice ball from Neal. Here's Barry, puts one on, and it's wide to the right. Haji Barry again with a chance. Settled it down at his foot, but maybe not a great vision towards the net, and he can't put it on target.
Yeah, Mart's good work in the box. Was able to win that ball. Good ball in from Lewis Neal again, just picking great passes. Martz beats his man and gives it to Hadji, and Hadji Berry tries to bend that in the top corner, and it was a good idea, it was a good thought. Just, again, the execution lets down Hadji Berry. And, you know, it's tough for Hadji because, you know, he's on the bench. He's on the bench for the first team a lot. He's traveling with the first team a lot. He's not getting the minutes, and he just hasn't quite got his shooting boots on tonight.
Rafa Ramos came up lame after that play, and he is down and being checked on. Ramos missed the first 3 months of the season with an injury that he suffered during off-season training. And we'll see if OCB were to take any chances. They do have their regular right back, Zach Ellis-Hayden, on the bench and ready to go in case Ramos cannot continue.
Yeah, you can see Ramos is not happy to not be able to finish the night. You know, Anthony Pula said before the game that he wanted to see Ramos, see if he could get 90 minutes, and he'll be a little disappointed that he couldn't.
Yeah, they are making the change, so Rafa Ramos' night is over. And again, you just can't take any chances when you're on your way back from an injury like that. But the Portuguese man Ramos is off, and Zach Ellis-Hayden from Kitchener, Ontario, Canada, acquired from Canadian side Waterloo B in 2016, re-signed to a fresh deal in November. And a 25-year-old coming in to play right back the rest of the way. Ellis-Hayden sitting on 4 cautions right now, so one more would see him suspended for a match.
Yeah, Ramos had a good game tonight, and, you know, he was once one of the most highly thought of prospects for Orlando City, and it's been a really stop-start year for him, and you can see his frustration as he was leaving the field. You know, he needs to get his body right, and he needs to get ready to play because he does have a big future.
Still just 22 years old. I mean, we've been talking about him for years now since he came into the USL Orlando City side back in 2014, but he was 19 that season, and still a lot of room to grow. Oh, what a pretty ball that was. Barry, oh, he just ran on top of the ball, and Mike Green clears it away for Pittsburgh.
Lewis Neal again, you know, he's really playing some beautiful passes out there tonight. Picks out Hadji Berry, and Hadji Berry can't quite deal with it.
You know, you've mentioned he's not a wide player, but you wouldn't be able to tell. I mean, the balls that he's putting in from the wing towards the middle of the park have been terrific. We got a foul on Orlando City's Larea on Kevin Kerr.
Well, Lewis was played out wide a lot in his career. It's just as you get older as a player, you gravitate to the inside. You know, Ryan Giggs, you know, he played as a winger his whole life, then he turned himself into a centre midfield player. And Lewis Neal has that kind of skill set. He's a great passer of the football, and that's on full display tonight.
Oh, here they come with Walsh. Siobhan Walsh takes a shot wide, and that was not touched. So Earl Edwards Jr. will just kick it away. Siobhan Walsh figures, hey, why not?
That's the warning signs, though. That's what we talked about at halftime. You know, when you got these two strikers, when you got Walsh, who's got that physical strength, is able to turn Pereira that time and just gets off an early shot and doesn't put it on target. But it's a sign, it's a warning sign that this back line needs to stay alert.
Yeah, Walsh, guy with all the talent in the world, out of Jamaica.
I can say certainly from when I played against him, he's certainly put on a little bit of size, you know, maybe some muscle, but you know, certainly physically he needs to get himself in tip-top condition to be able to compete as a full professional. As you can see, the talent's not a problem.
Yeah, weighing in at 203. And for a striker, that's not the worst thing in the world, but your fitness is certainly so important. Martz had just one man to beat on that run. Dribbled a little bit too far in front of him. Here's Jack Thompson the other way for Pittsburgh.
Now, you don't see too many footballers over the 200-pound mark. You know, you'll see that's about as heavy as they go in this sport. And you want to try and be as lean as possible. You know, I know Arsene Wenger, you know, if any of his players are over 11% body fat, he doesn't let them play.
They just brought in a guy who might be the biggest guy on the team, and Alexandre Lacazette, likely to replace Alexis Sanchez.
Oh, he's trying to keep hold of him. There's no doubt he's trying. He said he's not selling them. We'll see.
Etihad would have something to say about that. We'll follow the transfer window over the next couple of months, both in Europe and in the United States. The American transfer window opens on Monday.
Yeah, I know Orlando City are certainly going to be in the market for some guys.
No question about it. We'll keep everybody abreast at the official Twitter accounts at Orlando City SC and at Orlando City B.
Check out at Coach Trees as well if you like this broadcast, or if you want any opinions on it as well.
Oh, the personal Twitter plug. Well, Evan L. Weston is on Twitter as well. Push in the back from Thompson. And OCB turns it around. Pittsburgh's starting to counter a little bit here, though. I think they got Walsh for that.
Yeah, Richie Larea, you know, pleading with his teammates to give him some movement. You know, he's looking for more movement further forward and options. He had his hands in the air asking, who's going to move for me? Who can I make the pass to? It was after a really good start to the second half. You know, it's gone back into that rhythm again of Pittsburgh looking reasonably comfortable defending deep.
Nice movement by Haji, creating a little bit of an opening. Schweitzer, and at the very least, settles down possession for OCB. Ellis Hayden out wide. We'll see how he integrates into the game. That was pretty nice as Ellis Hayden moves to the middle, but he can't beat the second man. And Danny Earls takes it away from him. Soto draws a foul.
Nice use of his body there from Soto, the former Corinthians man. Grew up in the Corinthians Academy with, you know, one of my former players, very good friends with one of my former players, and they played together, and is very highly thought of in Brazil, and came over to Akron and had a good college career there before coming into the pros.
Spent a season here, actually. The Orlando City U23s back when they played in the Premier Development League in 2014 before moving back to Akron and then on to professional pastures.
Again, he hasn't had a lot of ball tonight, but he's made a lot of tackles as he did there.
Well, he just got called for foul. And possibly into the book. Osmanovic is trying to keep everybody in their right positions here. And Elvis Osmanovic pleading with Danny Earls. Now we're rather the other way around, as Earls, the Irishman, is shown a card.
Yeah, the Irishman and the Brazilian in there, both of them certainly love a tackle, so he gets the yellow for having his foot up there, I think.
Earls in his third start of the season, and he finds himself in the book for the first time this year.
Yeah, both of them sliding in, Lewis, Neal, and Earls, both there with their feet up. Lewis, you know, trying to ref the game out there as well as play it. Calling for that yellow card, and it looked like, again, it looked like they both had their foot up going for a 50-50 ball. You know, in my day growing up, that was a good challenge from both players, but, you know, that's a yellow card in today's modern game.
Was waiting for a good old-fashioned back in my day from you, Oliver. Here's Pereira.
You know, tackling is certainly one of the, you know, one of the best parts of the game, and, you know, it's certainly, you know, the good old-fashioned part of the game where you have to do it. You have to do the ugly part of the game. You have to commit yourself to the tackle, and it's just getting harder and harder with the modern rules.
Pretty nice tackle there by Jack Thompson with the ball back for the Riverhounds. They've ground out an hour here and still, sometimes very nearly, have kept Orlando City B off the board.
Yeah, in the second half, there's been two clear-cut opportunities, which, you know, Orlando City are going to be, if this game does end 0-0 or it doesn't go the way they want it to go, they'll certainly be looking back at those two opportunities they've had in the early parts of the second half.
Now, plenty of time left here. And we have a foul on OCB as they get the reserves warm. Already Ellis Hayden and Schweitzer into the game, so only one more reserve can come in for Anthony Pulis. Based on recent history, my guess would be Albert Dikwa, the teenager from Cameroon and striker who's tied with Barry and Larea for the team lead with 3 goals. Might have a shot to come in. Here's a takeaway for OCB and Lewis Neal pushing things forward. He has Barry. Some support coming up for the young Lions. Neal didn't quite catch Larea on the way back in. Counter attempt. Washington coming in behind. Kevin Kerr. Martz challenging, but it's back to Jack. And Pittsburgh pushed towards their defense. So the counter short-circuited pretty well tonight. Seems like Pittsburgh's best play has been just to try and launch the ball to their strikers and see if the two of them can make something happen. I think Taylor Washington was trying a version of it right there, but Siobhan Walsh didn't make the cut.
There's certainly been some teams in the USL that play a very expansive game. Cincinnati, the Battery, Charlotte, you know, really like to play through the midfield thirds, but you know, the Riverhounds, they have their strength and they're playing into them, so you can't, and there's an opportunity here.
Yeah, here we go. Siobhan Walsh finding Parks. Parks with a little bit of space, shot, and Edwards gets it off the line. Earl Edwards Jr. again making a big play.
And that's the game right there. You know, that was a big-time opportunity, perhaps their best chance of the match for the Riverhounds.
And it will be the last chance Romeo Parks has as he's coming off. We see this one more time.
Yeah, great run there from Walsh. Little fine through ball there to Parks, and Parks tries to go near post, and Earl Edwards makes a good save. He's well positioned to turn it around the post.
Well, the former Orlando City man, Corey Herzog, was in the substitution area for Pittsburgh and was set to come in. Kenroy Howell is there as well. So possibly 2 substitutions here for the Riverhounds. Romeo Parks' night is over regardless, and it will be the former Orlando City man, Corey Herzog, coming in.
And the much-traveled striker, Corey Herzog, has had spells with the Rowdies, played at Penn State, very successful in the collegiate game, and has really kind of bounced around in the USL and the NASL, and now you know, he's here in Riverhounds and needs to put in consistent performances. You know, he's got 6 goals on the season and needs to be consistent.
Poor play here by Pittsburgh as Thompson was offside before he even whipped the ball in off that short corner, and so the Riverhounds, unfortunately for Pittsburgh, just give away that chance. Thompson is irate with Jonathan Belinsky, the opposite referee, but doesn't get the benefit of the doubt. So Herzog is in as we see this one more time.
Yeah, he definitely comes. You can see Thompson. He definitely comes from an offside position. The defense steps up and he's offside. So a little bit of a schoolboy error from young Jack Thompson.
Herzog, 26 years old, out of Reading, Pennsylvania, and scored 6 goals for Orlando City's USL side in 2014. He's had 12 career MLS matches as well, 8th in Pittsburgh history with 19 goals. And Orlando City called for offside this time, as Earl Edwards Jr. was trying to go route 1.
So it looks like we got another Jamaican striker from Manchester, Jamaica, Kenroy Howell. It looks like he's going to be coming off the bench as well.
And that would likely be for Walsh, I would think. Or Jack Thompson. And it is not Walsh, so they're going to have a more offensive-minded player come in for Thompson to come play left midfield in Kenroy Howell.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if Kenroy Howell, who is certainly a more attack-minded player, if he plays up the middle or if he does play in the wide left position, or if this is a change in system. We'll watch out for it and see what we can see.
Now, Howell started his first match for the Hounds 2 weeks ago against Tampa Bay Rowdies. Played in Kingston, Jamaica for the last 4 years for Waterhouse. He's in on a 1-year deal, 24 years old. Has yet to score in the USL. Walsh's pass deflected by Schweitzer. And Jordan Schweitzer with a clear. But you see Pittsburgh now, they've brought everybody up into the attacking half. They're starting to get a little bit more aggressive. Beautiful ball to the corner. Can Washington catch up to it? Not quite. Maybe just a little bit out in front of him. And OCB can regroup and try to settle back in here.
Yeah, there's no change in the system. It's still, you know, straight up traditional 4-4-2 with Herzog playing up front with Walsh. And Howell will just play on this left side of the midfield, but he will be a little bit more of an attacking threat, I would think, in the last 20 minutes or so in this match.
So both teams with 1 sub left. OCB has not made an offensive sub, although not by choice. They lost Rafa Ramos to injury and subbed out Tony Rocha at halftime as he regains full fitness.
You see, we're talking about, you know, some of the pros or cons of being a standalone USL team, and obviously, you know, Anthony Pulis being told that he has to play Rocha 45 minutes. You know, you don't get that in that standalone. You know, guy's either ready to go 90 or he's probably not going to play. So that's the, you know, the interesting thing that some of these MLS clubs do have to deal with.
Soto fouls Larea to win the ball back for OCB. You're absolutely right. It's just a fascinating spot for the league to be in right now. many of the teams affiliated and many of them not, as more teams like Orlando City B and TFC 2 and Red Bulls 2 enter the league. Martz kicking the ball ahead. Neal. Oh, that's another nice ball from Lewis. Haji Barry with some position, and it's kicked away by Adewale.
Again, Lewis Neal, you know, really just a beautiful clip over the top from Lewis Neal. Finds Haji Barry. This is a good opportunity. Look at that first touch, though, from Lewis Neal. The first touch sets him in a position to be able to play forward, and Haji Barry's away. Almost like a quarterback playing that through to the wide receiver, but he couldn't get the ball under control. And it was a good tackle then from Adewale, who's been solid all night, hasn't he?
That's a 30-yard pass from Lewis Neal. He was behind halfway when he put that ball forward.
While moving, while, you know, just a little spin off on his first touch. And great football there from Lewis Neal.
Corner, immediately headed away. Bit of a line drive there. Second chance, headed on wide to the right. This close again for OCB.
Ball comes in here. And Timbo going backwards to get that ball. Glancing header does well. But just wide, just about a foot wide of the post there.
Fernando Timbo looking for his second goal of the year for OCB. And again, this close to coming in and scoring on Pittsburgh.
Yeah, nice pick out there from Paul Klaus. Finds Timbo, but Timbo unable to convert, so another chance goes begging for OCB. Are they going to regret these missed chances? And they're racking up in the second half.
I'll tell you what, the real solid fundamental game from Paul Klaus tonight. You know, sometimes the best game for a defensive midfielder is when you don't call their name all that much. And Klaus has not put one foot out of place tonight.
Yeah, he's been very efficient tonight.
OCB playing from the back. They do seem to have cut off that little run from Pittsburgh. Well, I speak too soon as the Riverhounds get right back on top of the ball. Giveaway from Edwards. Herzog turning it in, deflected out, and a nice sliding tackle from Ellis Hayden to cut off that chance. But you got to be careful with Corey Herzog. He is so dangerous.
Yeah, Earl Edwards there again. You know, I think that's his third giveaway from playing the ball out the back. Important he stays focused. Difficult for a goalkeeper. You know, he's got it in his locker. Look at that ball out of the back. Just a fantastic driven ball out wide to Timbo to start that counterattack.
And here they go. Larea, look at that pace. Larea tripped up, and we do get a whistle.
I think he'd be going in the book there.
Mike Green, and there's a yellow card for the former UNM man, Mike Green. Yeah. And a beautiful looking set piece here for OCB.
Yeah, really good play out of the back there from OCB, starting off with a distribution from Earl Edwards to transfer the ball out wide and showing his pace there. Richie Larea beating the man on the outside. Green brings him down.
The Klaus on top of the ball for OCB. Timbo, Pereira, Barry, and Larea heading into the box.
Now Klaus has shown he's got a lot of accuracy at these set pieces, these dead balls. Can they fashion an opportunity here?
The Englishman, one hand in the air. Here we go. It's short. Neal pops a peach, and Broom is right there.
Yeah, you can see a little bit of a training ground move there. Klaus to Lewis Neal, and Lewis Neal 18 yards out. Why didn't he have a go? Just tried to chip that in again, and I would have loved to have seen him just absolutely hammer this with his left foot and just chips a dainty ball right into the hands of the keeper. So an opportunity again goes begging.
Might have been looking for Haji Barry to try and head that in, perhaps.
Yeah, certainly, but 18 yards out, you know, any player on the pitch 18 yards out is going to want to take that opportunity, and his coach certainly would want him to shoot there.
Oh, Pittsburgh looking to counter. And you look at the clock, very suddenly we're into the tail end of this game. And Pittsburgh has just worn out OCB over these 71 minutes. Now approaching 72. And by the skin of their teeth, they've somehow kept this 0-0.
But this game, there's so much between the levels is about execution. You know, the top players, the players in the Champions League, the players in the Premier League, the players in the MLS, you know, their levels of execution, their levels of consistency are so high. And, you know, that's what these guys are fighting out here for, to get to that top level. And you know, the consistency needs to improve from these players to put the ball in the back of the net. The hardest thing in the game, but they got to execute when they're in the final third.
Kieselbroom playing from the back. Hasn't had to do too much tonight, but when he's been called upon, he's been solid. Young man from Claymont, Delaware, with Barbadian citizenship. Bounced around the second division, played for the New York Cosmos a couple of years ago in the NASL.
Well, he's 18 minutes away from a clean sheet, so if he can get to a clean sheet, he'll have had one heck of a game.
Would be his second of the year in 4 starts. Certainly not a bad record for your reserve keeper, as Pittsburgh continues to await the recovery of starter Trey Mitchell, who hurt his shoulder in Tampa about 2.5 weeks ago. Nice win from Kevin Kerr, the veteran. And Hines so strong in the air. Here's Ellis Hayden. Again, everything backwards and lateral for OCB for the moment.
Well, can OCB quicken the tempo in this last 20 minutes to see if they can steal a winning goal?
Their best chance, that ball that Haji Barry headed off the post about 15, 20 minutes ago. That was perhaps the game-changing play. Since then, OCB has had a few decent chances, but nothing so tantalizing.
They're going to get another opportunity. There's no doubt about it. There's plenty of time left. They will. Both teams will get an opportunity, and it's just a case of can they execute? Can they score?
Well, Timbo down in the corner earns a throw-in as Green had a chance to intercept that, but couldn't get to it cleanly.
And Green on a yellow card as well going into this last 15 minutes. He's going to have to be careful going up against the speed of Haji Barry.
Back to goal. And offside called. Schweitzer sneaking in behind.
Yeah, good overlap run from Schweitzer. Just Haji Barry delays it a little bit too long, and Jordan Schweitzer runs offside. But good idea, good energy from Jordan Schweitzer, the Denver man.
Schweitzer with that fantastic goal last weekend.
I was talking to the head coach of Denver, and you know, said what a great guy, what a great person he is. And you know, when he came into Denver as a freshman, you know, ability levels, he wasn't at the top of the squad, but you know, from hard work, determination, dedication to the game, he's got himself made himself into a professional. He's got a big future. Put himself into the captaincy his senior year, 3 times All-Conference for the Pioneers. Got Leo Pereira down briefly as the OCB faithful watch in anticipation, see if their side can put together a goal. Pereira back up after drawing that foul. Pittsburgh's got about 15 minutes left to run off. I can't imagine we'd have much in the way of stoppage time. We didn't have anything in the first half. And the only little bit of stoppages we've had were the brief subs and Rafa Ramos coming off. Klaus for OCB. The young Lions try to make something work on this left end of the pitch. Larea coming to throw in, and Timbo says, I got this. It does look like Larea has gone out wide, and Lewis Neal has dropped inside into that attacking midfield position.
Barry kind of sticking as a true number 9 here. Ellis Hayden threading it into Neal, and Jack gets in the way of a slow roller. Walsh would have had a chance to move there, but he couldn't grab it.
Yeah, tired first touch there, didn't get himself into position, lets the ball run under his foot. But, you know, Haji Barry, you know, he's played all over the park in his college career. Started at Monroe College in the JUCO ranks as well, and then you know, made his move to UCF, and he was a center mid in his first part of his career, and then he was a wide player at UCF, and you know, and he's been used in both positions really for for Orlando City and OCB, both as a wide attacker and a central forward.
Brian Cunningham doing a fantastic job to identify him, bring him down to Central Florida. OCB reaping the results of that. He was drafted in the first round last year, along with Richie Larea. Jack pummels it away. Schweitzer. Outside Ellis Hayden. Martz looking to make a run at it. Washington keeps it in. Pittsburgh on the counter. Kerr tripped up. Fernando Timbo called for the foul. And a card coming out for Timbo. It'll be his second booking of the season. So the Brazilian goes into the book.
Yeah, Timbo acts surprised, but he knew exactly what he was doing there. He got caught a little bit out of position, and he realized that he couldn't let his man break through from the midfield, so went to ground and took him out.
Does this look like a 4-5-1 to you a little bit, or is Neal just kind of tucked into that number 10?
I think, you know, it's definitely, you know, it's 4-4-1-1, but, you know, that's defensively, or if the attacking midfielder isn't getting high up the pitch, it's effectively a 4-5-1.
Here's Martz. And slid away by Washington. You've almost had Klaus playing as a fifth back at times, too, tonight. So OCB, despite holding possession, they have put numbers behind the ball when they've had to, no question.
Yeah, I would like to see last 10 minutes of the game. I'd certainly like to see Dikwa or Ben Polk or Danny Deacon.
Oh, a man down in the box. Barry wants the call, and instead all he'll get is a corner. And Haji staring daggers into Osmanovic, but he does not get the favorable decision.
So Haji holds up the ball well there. And it does look like Jamal Jack really is all over him. He's trying to get his shirt before the end of the game. And he wanted to swap shirts with him there in the 80th minute and not the 90th. So Haji Berry wasn't happy about that. Nothing really going right for Haji Berry tonight, but he'll keep plodding on and see if he can make something happen on this corner.
Haji looked pretty good in gold when he played at UCF, didn't he?
Yeah.
Danny Deacon appears to be the final sub as the corner kick is headed away. Ellis Hayden rocketing one back in. Hines can't find a teammate. Pittsburgh the counter. That ball tad behind Corey Herzog. Martz coming up to pressure. Herzog has Victor Soto. Now Danny Deacon is coming in for OCB momentarily. So Deacon, the 23-year-old from Sheffield, will be the last man on. Offside against Pittsburgh.
Oh, that was dangerous. Good ball into Herzog's feet, and he played that ball around the corner for Kerr. I think Herzog was the one who was offside on that when that ball was first played in.
Herzog and Kerr do not want to be 2-on-1 with those guys up at the top. It appears that Martz is the man coming off for Deacon. And that would slot Danny right into where he'd like to play, out wide in the midfield. Deacon at about 650 minutes in 11 matches for OCB this year. Ellis Hayden winning it back for the Young Lions. They're running out of time here as Pittsburgh is looking to bring down a hard-earned point on the road.
You got to be impressed with this Pittsburgh back line. You really got to be impressed.
Oh, they've played very well.
They've defended collectively and really limited OCB some half chances.
Ellis Hayden fighting forward in the corner. Falls on top of the ball. And they give it to OCB. Now, will this be a throw or a free kick? It looks like a set piece for Orlando City B. So they get the foul on Taylor Washington.
Yeah, definitely a push in the back there from Taylor Washington. And he wanted to have a kick at him there. So definitely a foul from Washington on Zach Ellis Hayden. And Austin Martz has run himself into the ground as usual, covers every blade of grass, and he'll get a much-earned rest for this last 8 minutes of the game. And the left-footed Danny Deacon will look like he'll start on the right, but he'll be looking to cut in and create with that wonderful left foot he has.
Neal, right to Broom.
Not quite enough pace on that, into a good area, but pretty close to the keeper. And if it's going to be that close, you've got to put a little bit more whip and pace on it. Otherwise, that was easy for Broom.
Counterintuitively, Lewis has almost had a little bit more touch in open play tonight than on set pieces.
Yeah, he's been a very creative force in there, Lewis Neal. And obviously, he's always got his workmanlike performance as well, and covering the ground and making the tackles he does.
Here's Deacon from Sheffield, England. Came to America to play at the University of South Carolina. He's bounced around the American and English lower divisions before coming to Orlando. Was on the MLS roster sheet, but was transferred to OCB officially back in April. Barry looking to steal it from Washington. Gotta love the pressure, even playing a little defense for Haji. He has been all over the park tonight, and Broom shanks this one off the side of his foot, and Pittsburgh can't keep it in. That's the first real mistake of the night for Kiesel Broom, and Orlando City B gets back on offense.
And you said it, can pressure the ball. That's what happens when you get more of a high press.
We'll have another set piece coming up as Washington fouls Ellis Hayden, and we have the final substitution for Pittsburgh as Marshall Hollingsworth checks in for Siobhan Walsh.
Yeah, you can see this Riverhounds team is looking awfully tired, so there might yet be a sting in the tail of this game.
Hollingsworth on a game-by-game loan from Columbus Crew. He's one of the players that is down from the first team. 41st overall draft pick last year. First pick in the history of Wheaton College, where he played his amateur days. Scored 45 goals in 4 years. And Hollingsworth, the present and future Columbus Crew man, coming on for Siobhan Walsh.
Yeah, Siobhan Walsh, couple of half chances in the game, has worked hard. You can see he's working back to full fitness and top form. But has been a danger man for the Riverhounds.
Another ball in from Neal, and Broom is there to make the play again, just behind Leo Pereira.
Yeah, Washington did get a yellow card for this incident in the corner. So both the right and the left back picked up yellow cards for the Riverhounds.
Washington had been suspended for 5 yellows, and his first match back, he picks up a 6th. Bolted forward, Barry nearly there, but not before Adewole, who's played an excellent match.
Yeah, this is a no-nonsense defense. This isn't a back four that you're going to see the free-flowing full-backs pushing forward. This is a back four that's there to do the defending, and they've done just that tonight.
It's a very Pittsburgh team. When you think about, the steel curtain in the 1970s for the Pittsburgh Steelers, or how, gritty and tough the Pittsburgh Penguins have been, winning back-to-back Stanley Cups. Into Larea, shot deflected as OCB looked to develop quickly off the counter.
Yeah, Lewis Neal starting that counter-attack again there. Haji Berry finds Richie Larea, and Richie not able to put a shot on frame.
Hines, a former MLS fullback, pushing up, and Hollingsworth cordons him off the ball, and Pittsburgh wins it back. Now the Riverhounds, they are tough as nails. They're not afraid to get down and dirty and like you've said, do the ugly work. Stuff that isn't going to show up on the first page of the stat sheet. Stuff that isn't going to be on the headline in the game recap. But, boy, they are just tough as nails.
If they get a point out of this, it'll be a hard-earned point. They've worked it. They've earned it.
OCB has applied consistent, heavy pressure, and Pittsburgh has fought it off all night. Sometimes barely, but nonetheless, the scoreboard reads what it does. Hard foul coming the other way on Hollingsworth as he pushed down Ellis Hayden.
Yeah, you can see his hand came up there and just pulled him down. As soon as Hollingsworth put his hand up, Ellis Hayden felt it on his back and went to ground.
Possession slightly more in the favor of the Riverhounds in this second half, but still 63% to OCB. That is a massive number. OCB has won 86% of aerial duels in this match as well. And yet Pittsburgh just hanging on. You see how compact they get defensively. Those are their strikers on their own half. Oh, a miss there from Adewale. Larea out to Barry. Haji looking to turn the corner, and offside called on Orlando City B.
Again, nothing really going right for Haji Berry. You know, it looks like they've called him for coming back from an offside position. He's confused. Sometimes you don't get the rub of the green, and tonight it was a bit one of those nights. Oh, very tough decision, very tough decision. You could see the left back here looked like he was playing him on from our angle. Taylor Washington did look like he was playing him onside, so Haji Berry definitely felt aggrieved there.
And Broom, the keeper, taking his sweet time to kick this off, and you understand why. Just a couple of minutes left in this match, and again, we're not expecting much in the way of stoppage time here.
Yeah, you know, the draw will feel like a win for the Riverhounds, and this draw will almost feel like a loss for OCB. You know, they've been pushing for this victory all game, and it's just haven't been able to find an opening in the final third and punish the Riverhounds.
Offside called on Kerr, and OCB may have one last run in them. Schweitzer bombing it up the pitch. Look at Larea go. Ritchie gets behind Adewale. And the Akron man feeds the ball out. Lewis Neal. And out to Haji Berry. Sneaks it through to Ellis Hayden. The 25-year-old right back. It's Barry. Ellis Hayden tripped up, no call. And Pittsburgh clears for the moment. OCB hustling up.
It's all hands on deck here for the Riverhounds.
Pereira. Larea looking to turn. Green gets in the way with some help from Howell. And Pittsburgh again with just team defense hunts down the ball.
You can see that you do this in practice as a coach. You know, you put your team as one or two men down and you have them defend, and how long can they last? And they've lasted almost 90 minutes here tonight, the Riverhounds.
Klaus. Out to Fernando Timbo. Orlando City getting a little bit of a gift here. 3 minutes of stoppage time are about to be put up on the placard. So that is a nice gift for the young Lions as they have a little bit more time to work with here. Or could it be a negative? Kerr breaking away, pops one forward off the top of the bar. Oh, goodness gracious, Pittsburgh nearly stole 3. This close to coming out with a 1-0 win against the run of play. Instead, Orlando City B pushing the other way. Deacon for Barry. And Jamal Jack gets around the ball. Jack trying to keep it in, and he does. Hollingsworth for Pittsburgh. Wow, this close for Kevin Kerr.
Just a direct ball and a bit of a mistake in the back line there. Gave the opportunity for the Riverhounds. And here's another one.
Here they come again. Kerr was onside. Pereira staying with him, and nobody there as he tried to pass to Corey Herzog.
Yeah, Kerr just didn't want to take the shot on himself there. You see, he had no confidence to take the shot himself when that was clearly the best opportunity for him.
Even if he'd let that go from 18 yards or so, I think that was the only real play there for him. But now Pittsburgh, perhaps the team that's going to get the last crack at net with this 3-minute added time. Nice sliding play by Kerr to keep it with his team. Soto out to Washington to swing one in. Washington turning one on, threw it in, it's fouled wide. Oh boy, Pittsburgh has put on their best assault of the night here in added time.
Here's the earlier chance there. Paul Klaus failing to clear the ball, and Kerr just a lovely chip, but just inches away, just clips off the top of the crossbar. Earl Edwards was beaten, and here was the opportunity for Corey Herzog. The ball just drops in the box, and he just swings with his left foot, and, you know, when it's not going for you, the striker, it's just not going for you, because he should have hit the back of the net with that strike.
Line drive, turn back out. Does Larea have any time to counter here? Well, not if Adewale has anything to say about it, but they call the foul on the Hounds. And they're going to force the ball backwards. OCB perhaps one last run.
Can Haji Berry stretch his legs here?
Barry. Back for Klaus. And through to the middle to Lewis Neal. He's done so well in this part of the field tonight. Deacon. Seconds left to Hines. And Orlando City B may be looking for one last long ball. Here's Pereira.
Looking to put it in the box. They've got to put it in the box at this stage of the game. There's no point in passing it around. Get it in the box. And you could see Pereira, that's what he wanted to do, and no one was up there.
Well, they gave it away. And Hollingsworth headed down the other end for Pittsburgh. They have Herzog on the other side. Here's Kerr. Kerr whips one in for Herzog, but it's long and out the back. And that does it. Certainly a hard-earned point for Pittsburgh tonight. Very nearly had themselves two more. Both teams see shots hit the post in the second half and walk away with a 0-0 draw.
Yeah, and exciting, you know, if like a 0-0 can ever be an exciting game, this was certainly it. You know, there was action at both ends, a lot of possession for Orlando City. They carved out a number of good goal-scoring opportunities, but just couldn't convert. And then on the other side, there was always a threat. There was always a threat from the Riverhounds. They counter-attacked well, and they created some opportunities themselves, just like in those last few minutes, as you said, hitting the top of the crossbar on the break from Kerr. So an exciting match. You know, the Riverhounds will definitely settle for a point. OCB will be a little bit disappointed.
We'll wrap things up when we come back. 0-0 full-time here in Orlando.
She must feel. Evans is so calm and composed on the ball. How about that from the Bogogoo to find her? And I don't know how Evans sneaks that through.
Richie Larea, hard not to be a little disappointed tonight as Orlando City B draws Pittsburgh Riverhounds 0-0. A tough, hard-fought battle and just a grinded-out point for the visiting side.
Yeah, the team certainly went head-to-head tonight in a really a full-blooded affair. Good opportunity here in the second half. Great ball here from Ramos. Picks out Haji Berry, and just his header comes off the post. Another opportunity for Haji Berry just moments later. Austin Martz just puts one on a plate for Haji Berry, tries to open his hips and bend it in the top corner, but just couldn't quite execute the finish.
So many chances for OCB, and Pittsburgh had a few of their own throughout the second half. Romeo Parks, with his last play of the match before being subbed off, very nearly put one in on Earl Edwards Jr., but the keeper making a great stop for OCB.
And then a little trick play here. I don't think Lewis Neal will want to see that too many times again. Just a little no passbacks allowed right into the keeper's hands.
Pittsburgh had maybe the best chance of the entire match right near the end as Paul Klaus couldn't clear one out. Kevin Kerr with a little chip puts it on the top of the bar. Both teams hitting the beams in this second half, and it ends 0-0 as Pittsburgh and OCB had their chances. But we close with a draw, a point to each side here at Orlando City Stadium. For Oliver, well, let's check out the post-match statistics real quick. And you see that possession number, OCB outshot despite holding the ball that much. Just a little bit more aggression perhaps needed from the Young Lions tonight.
Yeah, just the execution in the final third. You know, that's something obviously they'll go back to the training ground and they'll work on, and they'll work on finishing on a team, work on creating those chances, carving out the opportunities when a team is sitting back and defending, like many teams are going to do when they come to this, you know, magnificent stadium and play against this solid team. So obviously back at the training ground and more work needed, but you know, a solid performance and a good match for the spectators in this 0-0 draw.
Yeah, a lot of fun to watch, back and forth, especially Pittsburgh really turning on the Jets right at the end. They earn a very Pittsburghian point here tonight, a 0-0 draw between the Riverhounds and Orlando City B. For Oliver 12 Trees, my name is Evan Weston. Thank you so much for joining us tonight from Orlando City Stadium. 0-0 full-time, your final. Have a great night, everybody.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League may not be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent from the United Soccer League.